Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. And we're here to talk about Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 7, A Keith in the Night. I'm feeling a bit froggy today. I apologize. A bit under the weather, but I'm going to soldier on. I'm here with my fellow cohort, my vigilante, so to speak. Cheetah, how you doing?
Hey, do you think we can find a doppelganger here? Hey, there might be a doppelganger of me here. Hey, I want a doppelganger. Yes, I am here,
Yeah.
and I'm ready to talk about this episode.
I just want to say I love this episode, and I loved how it started. Um, like straight off the bat, it continues exactly where the previous episode left off, and Harcourt tells like Peacemaker, what you only now realize this place was a Nazi planet. Do you notice all the people no people of color? And he just shrugs his shoulders and he goes, well, what about that book of Mein Kampf? He goes, I'm too buff to read. And he goes, okay, then what about that Hitler memorial on the wall? Oh man, I thought that was hilarious. I'm not sure if you did, but
I
did you
mean,
roll your eyes?
I like the issue of Mein Kampf on every single one. Now the mural was a bit much. Where I'm like, really, he didn't notice that? Like,
You know it's the flag, but not the mural.
well, like the mural of the flag is one thing, but like like Hitler is just ginormous on there. So I'm like, okay, like it was fine. I mean, just overall with this episode, I mean, I thought this episode was much better. I felt like we should have been here earlier in the season. I just felt like this thing's kind of dragged on a little bit in this season, and but no, I really felt like a lot of this stuff was actually really good. Um,
Yeah,
so this episode, I should have been like episode 4 in my opinion. Like or 3.
really.
Yeah, I
Okay.
really feel like we should have gotten here much quicker.
Well, talking about quick, uh, Chris Smith, Peacemaker, he breaks up with Amelia Harcourt from the universe that he's in, Earth X version of her. He gets the fuck out, and then he gets the fuck out of there, and he uses his jetpack, which he doesn't use very well. Bumps his way out and stuff like that. Jumps on his peace cycle, hopes that he can take it back with him to his universe as well. He wants to make a door big enough. I'm sure he could do that. Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, no, he wants to take the peace cycle with him.
And at the same time, we're cutting to Leota running away from a horde of like Nazi crazies who are acting like fucking zombies, I may add. You know what I mean? You think they're gonna get a pound of flesh out of her, the way. And I'll say one thing, Leota, she's a big girl, but my god, is she fucking she's got some legs on her and she's fucking agile as well, jumping over fences and God knows what. I guess when you're running for your life, you know things just you could do things whether you want to or not. But
Yep.
I think one thing she shouldn't have done was jump into a fucking swimming pool when she should have ran around it. But
I
she,
noticed that, but I was like, I didn't know if like there was some. I didn't really get a good view. I was watching it on my phone at the time, and like I didn't
I,
have a good view of like everybody, like where everybody was. But I thought the same thing. I'm like, why would you just jump in the pool when you could just like?
the only thing I thought was that she was trying to be smart by cutting across the pool by jumping on the float, and then maybe and then using that to then jump onto the other side of the pool. But it instantly made her fall into the water, regardless. That's the only benefit of the doubt I'm giving her. Regardless, the people who are chasing her are just as nuts as well. They're like zombies.
Oh,
They
they really
fucking
were.
followed
I
her in the
mean,
water. You know what I mean? So yeah, they followed her into the fucking water, and then the forgotten man came along in Judo Master. Pulls her out, electrocutes them. Yeah, with television wire, I believe. Was it television wire? He electrocutes
it
them
was
with.
some kind of wire from a like a telephone pole, like an electrical
Yeah,
wire.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, some sort of electrical wire. But yeah, and then they skedaddle and they get away, and they uh Judo Master has a hideout, which is just basically some abandoned home. And he's got Cheetos of his own, by the way, but he's got the Cheetos with a H. And it made you start to realize, yeah, but I never really picked up on this last time, because obviously we didn't find out it was officially FX until the end of the episode. But when Vigilante was looking for his doppelganger, he came across Cheerios with an H
Yeah.
at the end, and obviously the H must imply to Hitler. That's the only thing I can think
I
of.
say I think it more applies to German pronunciation of things, but maybe I don't know. That's how I took it.
Yeah.
I took it. It was more like German enunciation of things. Cheerios.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. I was just thinking, like because like within white supremacy circles, they like to do the old HH, and stuff like that, and yeah,
Might be.
88 as well, which is regardless. Regardless, those Cheetos don't taste as good as the one back on his Earth. But we do see a moment between Leota and Juno Master bonding because they're very similar. They're both minorities and they're both gay, and they're both running for their lives on that fucking. Even though they had issues with each other, they're both running for their lives on this planet. Because they tick all the boxes of being somebody who more likely to be executed.
Yep.
So but whilst they're like talking and stuff like that, like she's trying to make him understand who Peacemaker is and all of that. Because obviously Judah Master hates Peacemaker, you know,
Yeah.
and
I
since
mean,
yeah,
this is, as I said, this is the kind of stuff that we needed to get to earlier in the season. Like, this is all just crammed into one episode. Like, not to skip to the end, but like they're all getting back to the Prime universe now, and like what happened to all the black people? Like you said, like they escaped, and they did say what was what happened to them, but like and I think was it Vigilante who said what happened to them? Like they're all put in camps, or basically like slave camps and stuff like that. Like,
well, they can't save the whole planet,
no, and I'm not saying, but I'm just saying like maybe we could see a little bit of that. Like if they got Adebayo to to one of those camps,
I
and then like Judo Master rescued her there.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. To a degree, I'm kind of glad it did it because then it opens up a can of worms. Of okay, like are we gonna just leave all these people behind? Probably. You can't fucking save everyone. But then it might leave a bitter taste in people's mouths. And stuff like that. Coming across all
Yeah,
these
but
like
Peacemaker's
because
not about saving everybody. That's what I like about the first season, is like it's not about saving everybody. It's about triaging the disaster that's happening in front of them.
he wanted to save his friends as well. Leota, he admitted that she is his best friend. But
Mm-hmm.
as we'll come back to Peacemaker, like he obviously running away, and you can see like Harcourt and him, like they love each other. I mean, she's like embracing him as they ride that right as he rides his P cycle and all of that, and then from there we'll go back to the Smith house where Oggy, uh, Chris's dad, has got it's got Economos, all bandaged up, and like this is one of the first things I noticed is that he even though he stabbed him in the hand, but obviously he doesn't know what the fuck he's dealing with. He did like tape his hand, and dealt with that injury, but he still kept him tied up because he doesn't know who the fuck this guy is who's just in his house and mentions things about his son dying and all of that sort of stuff. It's a lot to take in, but he does speak to Keith and tell Keith what's going on. And Keith and his dad finally understand why Chris has been acting so fucking weird because they know that he's from an alternative universe. And this is the funny thing because Oggy mentions how he went into the alternative universe and saw his doppelganger. And he was a cruel, bitter man, and he probably thinks he's from a dark universe, which is our universe, um, ironically.
Yeah, I mean, not our universe technically, but closer to our universe than
Yeah,
Earth X.
yeah.
But
And
yeah,
then that
no,
was
I agree,
yeah,
and
that
it's
was so
like,
funny.
yeah, and I mean, like, there's a lot of parallels in this episode that I thought worked really well, but then there's a lot of things that like just James Gunn knows how to ruin. You know what I mean? Like, and we'll get to those here in a little bit, but still, like, I thought it was really good the way that they kind of, kind of did a bait and switch with Blue Dragon. I can't remember his dad. Is it Ozzy? I can't remember his
Okay,
dad.
okay.
Augie, that's right.
Yeah.
What they kind of did a bait and switch with Augie, which I was kind of hoping, because it was funny, because when they revealed it was Earth X, I'm like, oh, no wonder why Augie's loves it, and is a good guy here, because it's a Nazi planet. That's why he
Yeah,
loves
yeah.
it. But it's
That's
like he
what I
actually
was thinking
doesn't.
too. Yeah. For me, that's what a lot of people were thinking too, because back on his if he's a racist in both universes, then the racist in our universe would be a bit of person, because he's upset with how there is equality to a degree, whilst there isn't equality in this universe. So obviously, if he's racist, he's really happy. He got everything he ever fucking wants. White people are in power and all of that. He's a fucking hero to everyone. So he's gonna be but and that's obviously the sort of idea you get. But no, there's more to it. There's actually more layers to this,
Mm-hmm.
which was interesting. But I'll get
Which
to
is
that
the
in this.
part I really liked about this episode, was that dichotomy of, like, where they kind of flipped the whole thing on its head. You know what I mean? Like, I like that part. That part was really good, because I was under the assumption, that he's a more happier, normal guy, because he loves being in his white supremacy utopia that they think it is, and like, no, that's not it at all. He does not like what's going on in his world. He thinks he knows all
Yeah,
the cops are crooked. He knows that they're all racist. And he even said, when he called him a Nazi, he said, "Don't call me that. I'm not that. I don't want anything to do with that." But
yeah.
he's
He
right.
just
He's like, he's trying to fix the problems that are right in front of him. But he
yeah.
yeah, I there was a lot of good stuff with the dad in here, and the brother in this episode. But yeah, go ahead,
Well,
continue. We'll get to the other
oh,
part that I had a problem with in a little bit. But
like Judo Master and the vigilantes and Hardcore and everyone, they all join up, to rescue. Oh, sorry, I apologize. Hardcore and Peacemaker are together, but everyone else have all joined up now, and they're going to try to rescue Chris. So we got both vigilantes together. I'll be honest with you, they didn't do a really good job of finding two actors who look really similar in physique and head shape and whatever, because you could tell it was two different people under those masks. The physicality was just not the same. If anything, if anything, they should have got just considering the actor who plays Vigilante doesn't take his mask off, it would have been a lot smarter to find a couple of actors who are twins who look very similar in physique and shape, and just make them mimic out the actions and all of that sort of shit,
and not take
you
the mask
know,
off.
and not take the mask off. You
Yeah,
know,
I
that
agree.
would have been a lot better. That would have been a lot better. Regardless, when we hit, when Augie starts interrogating everyone in the kitchen, because obviously Chris is there and stuff like that, and and like Chris is like, you know, like he tells the whole truth, tells them everything, and obviously Keith is really pissed off because Chris has killed his brother, you know, and but he did tell him it was an accident. It wasn't meant to be, and how he wanted to live with them, real family, all of that. He explained it all. And Oggy being the sort of clever guy that he is, because he is a human lie detector. He was able do to go between all the bullshit and what's real and what's not. But he believes Chris Smith. He believes that he didn't mean to kill his son, and he wanted just to live a normal life and all of that. And we find out that he's not a Nazi, as you mentioned earlier, and he's just trying to do what he can in this particular world. And it's such a lovely moment. And then he goes, if I stand if when I die, when I stand in front of the pearly gates of heaven, I'll explain my cause to God or whatever. And then boom, one of the vigilantes just jumps in and stabs the fuck out of him,
Yeah,
kills him
and
there
see,
and then.
this is where I lost it. Like, I not lost it like good, lost it like this ruined this whole thing, like this whole moment for me, because if Blue Dragon were to die here, fine. But like they just did it as a gag, as him running through the window and just stabbing the shit out of him. You know what I mean? Like it's just like
I don't know. I didn't look at it as a gag. I thought, fuck, like my jaw was dropped because this is the thing. Like you don't like being in battle with each other, fighting each other. It's so not black and white at times. Who your enemies truly are. There might be people who you might be fighting against, but really they don't want to continue this conflict. They want to resolve it. And Blue Dragon was that guy. But as far as Vigilante was concerned, he was the enemy. And
yeah, I know, but I think it would have been better if like Blue Dragon, like either like one of the cops was going to shoot Chris, or even his dad, or even his brother
oh,
was going to shoot Chris, and then
I'm
like
glad you
Blue
mentioned.
Dragon stepped in the way or something like that.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we saw the cop from season one,
Mm-hmm.
who got killed. And by the way, his partner was that Asian lady in season one as well. But as you can tell, in this universe, she's not his partner, because she's probably in a camp somewhere. I wonder what's happened to the Japanese because the Japanese were allies of the Nazis. People
Well, and
forget
that's
that.
kind of another thing I was kind of hoping to learn. And as I said, I mean, I don't know if we're done with Earth X. I mean, I probably not because Keith is still alive, but
Keith
like,
is still alive, but Keith is more likely to come to their Earth.
yeah, and that's what I mean.
You
Like, we're pretty much done with Earth X at this point, in my opinion. Like, I mean, they kind of closed
know.
the door, literally the door on that.
Doesn't mean that they don't have a portal of their own, because Oggy did mention, Earth X Oggy did mention how he saw himself, so he must know about a portal. They must have their own portal, regardless. Uh, Shenanigans issue. Cops are running in here, there, and everywhere. The vigilantes are taking them out, and Keith's brother's gone mad trying to fight Peacemaker and all of that, and then Eagerly comes in for a save, and other people come in for a save, stabbing him and shit, and then everything is just so overwhelming for Chris that he screams and goes, "What the fuck?" And I think like, what's the matter with us? Like it's pretty much the "can't we all get along" sort of speech. Like we're fucking crazy here, and then he realizes that he's the problem. Like everything he does, he's like he causes death to the people he loves. His brother's died twice. His dad has died twice. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, on the first occasion it was on it by his hands. On this occasion, it was by the people around him, his friends. He's so overwhelmed. He doesn't, and he's trying to stop his brother from dying, but he has to escape this universe. Harcourt is about to then take him out to make sure that he doesn't um, come back for round two, but the police come in and stop that from happening. So she gets Vigilante throws her into the portal and closes the door behind her. Now, I think, by the way, that Vigilante from our Earth has swapped places with Vigilante from their Earth. I think I think Earth X's Vigilante is going to come back because they're technically the same people, but one of them doesn't like Chris and one of them does, and that's the only difference. Yeah, so they're still going to be the same, but this the Vigilante who comes back, he won't be friends with Chris. I don't know if it's the same Vigilante who killed his Earth X dad. It's hard to say, but my money is 100% on that, Cheeto. I'm not sure if you agree that the Earth
I
X
would have to go back
Vigilante
and
stuff.
watch the sequence of everything happening.
Yeah, but you can't tell. You can't tell. That's the whole
Okay,
point.
but
Because they're both exactly the same in how they look and what they wear. Their outfits are exactly the same.
but what?
You
Okay,
know,
but why? So then, why would Vigilante of Earth of DCU Earth kick the door closed when he was supposed to go back? Like, did he really
no, he
think that
wasn't
that Earth
supposed.
was
No,
that
he wasn't.
awesome?
No, he wasn't supposed to go back. He's vigilante. You saw how he was when he went into jail in season one. He was in fucking dreamland. You know what I mean? Like here he is now in this earth full of fucking Nazis, and he's the vigilante. You know, like it's a dream come true for him. He'll be fighting this fight for the rest of his fucking life. You saw his room, his basement full of fucking drug money and all that shit. fighting all manners of like scumbags. He's going to be on Earth X fighting Nazis. Why would he want to go back? This is who he is.
Okay.
You
I
know,
mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean, you're right. He would probably be in Dreamland doing that, but
and for the other vigilante, the one on Earth X, this like he's been doing that shit all this time. Maybe he wants to do something else. You know what I mean? And this gives an opportunity to mix it up a little bit. And so and so I think that's what's going to happen. By the way, um,
okay.
what do you think? You think that's a good?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I sometimes I have a problem sometimes I have a problem thinking James Gunn is that creative, but you never know. He might do it.
Fair enough. But yeah, Keith is still alive, and you can see the shock in his face. Like, my God, like the sort of trauma he's just gone through in these last 10 minutes, with his dad dying and his brother doing what he did. Like, even though almost tried to kill his doppelganger brother, his doppelganger brother saved him from being killed. But he obviously his doppelganger brother killed his real brother. Like, what the fuck, all of this shit going on. And I think Keith is still a bit more of a Nazi, in him. He's more inclined to this world and tuned to this world regarding not liking people who are different. So yeah, and it's going to be interesting because obviously uh, having your brother as your enemy, I mean, it's been done before, but this is
Yeah, but
different.
remember, that's what I was saying early on was that he's, eventually he's gonna have to I figured he was gonna have to kill his brother.
Well, I don't think he'll kill his brother this season. I think if they do a season 3, his brother will be a season 3 villain without a doubt. Like they said, this is a setup for a return match. Because his
I
brother's
don't know. I feel
obviously
like
gone
he's
through.
gonna be in next episode. I feel like we're gonna cap this off next
No,
episode.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why he's not. Because in season 1 they had to round off two things. They had to round off the white supremacy angle with his dad in episode 7, which they did, and then they fully focused on the butterflies on episode 8. So I feel that this is kind of dealt with all the shit in effects, but he still has to deal with fucking Rick Flag Senior and all the shit that comes with that. In the final episode. And also, that reminds me is that in some of the subplots we got here, we got another Superman cameo with one of Lex Luthor's dudes, who knows how to do the portal and shit like that. And I think the portal is going to play a big part next episode.
Oh yeah, they were already showing. There's actually a trailer out already for it with they show him going through several different doors in that portal.
Oh,
So,
really?
yep.
I'm gonna avoid that trailer just for the episode for what it is, but regardless, yeah, I think some of those shenanigans are going to happen. So we're going to see where that takes us. And apparently, whatever happens at the end of this episode goes into Superman 2 as well. It continues into that. With all of this is James Gunn's writing as well, so it kind of makes sense. So, yeah, Peacemaker, he's now caught. I mean, the police of his universe are ready, waiting for him to come back, and they handcuff him and stuff like that. Judo Master doesn't make a big deal of it, and just concludes the story that was mentioned.
I know. I
He
just love
almost
how he just casually walks over the line. Like they're standing like in the yard and on the street, and then like Judah Master just walks across.
I like also earlier on in the episode when he's arguing with the vigilantes, but then later on they're all cool with killing cops. But yeah, but he's Team Argus. But at the same time, he spent enough time with those guys in that racist world where what, enough shit's gone down. I ain't gonna make it any worse.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
mean
gonna
he did vouch for them about the.
yeah, yeah. So we'll see where that goes as well. So,
I
but
think we're gonna have
yeah,
a time jump in the next episode. I really I feel like several months is gonna pass or something like that. Like that's why I think Keith is coming back is because he's gonna have time to recover and then he's gonna like in their universe. And so he's gonna, like, when they start going through the doors and stuff like that, I think he's gonna come through they're probably gonna get to the door that, obviously that is Earth X, and then Keith is gonna go through, or Keith is just gonna go in there because he probably knows the way in. Maybe, I don't know if he knows the code, but he'll probably figure out a way in there, and then Argus will probably be in that pocket dimension in between worlds, and then he's gonna go and
Well, they might end up bringing something to their world which they wouldn't want to have brought, by going through all these different doors. They open a portal to a world where maybe one of like Superman's worst enemies comes from that portal. Maybe like a dark side or something like that.
No, I hope not. I don't want that again. Like, I kind of don't want it to be like world ending or that big of a thing. Like, I like Peacemaker when it's like it's kind of down to earth. Like, I didn't mind the whole Argus thing, when he was going up against Argus, because it was very personal, like low key. It's street level. It's not like here's Darkseid, or here's an alien invasion, or here's an alternate dimension of Nazis. Like, which again, I think they did the Earth X thing relatively well. I think they spent a little bit too much time world building. I think they should have really spent more time realizing they were in Earth X, and then the shenanigans from there.
The only thing is that we don't really get much of Peacemaker's abilities. Like, he's pretty much another version of Deadshot. He's like a guy. He's a marksman.
In Bloodsport.
And Bloodsport and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, then I don't think he's used a single helmet this season, has he? Like, he's worn one, but has he used one?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
And see, that's kind of, again, I mean, not that he has to use the powers all the time, but it's like, isn't that kind of the Peacemaker's jam, is like the helmet power thing? Like, each helmet has a different use, different function.
Yeah, it's an unusual episode because it's almost like he's cosplaying as Peacemaker, even though he is Peacemaker. He's cosplaying as Peacemaker in a different universe. And we're seeing more of Chris Smith, if anything, and less of Peacemaker. Even when he's wearing the Peacemaker outfit, he's still more Chris Smith than he. I mean, there was one moment where we could have seen him as Peacemaker when him and his dad and his brother were fighting the kaiju, but we never saw any of that. We just saw the aftermath of them having a meal in the cafe in the cafeteria, or where the fuck it was, in a diner. So we could have seen some Peacemaker from him there, but we didn't. So we just think this is more Chris Smith than it is Peacemaker, if anything, this season.
I agree,
without a doubt. And I have no problems with it. I have no problem. No
John Cena's work in this. John Cena's work on this show is incredible. Like, he's really earned his stripes in this show.
Yeah, he's very good.
I mean, even in the Suicide Squad, like, he did good, but like, he wasn't really the standout. He almost seemed like he was more comedic. But in this show, I mean, he's really earned his stripes, and like really shown his acting chops, in my opinion.
More so than pretty much anything else he's done, to tell you the truth. And he's been very good. And this show's just been really good. Great characters. Eagerly taking the piss out of Economos.
Yeah.
Earlier on, hilarious.
I don't know. Season 2 for me is kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like Strange New World season 3. Like, it's just a big letdown. It just seems like they're kind of losing. They're already losing kind of the nature of the show. Like, I'm not, as I said, the acting is good. I just have an issue with kind of like the writing and some of the direction of the production. I don't know. I
think a lot of it leads to having to connect the dots as well for upcoming projects, and that's a bit unfortunate to a degree.
Yeah, I don't really want that. I don't want them to use this as like a connect the dots thing. Like, I want this show to be about Chris Smith and his friends and the problems that they're having with Argus. Like, that's what I want. Him seeing his doppelganger dad and dealing with his doppelganger dad and brother and killing himself from the other universe. You know what I mean? Like, I want that. I mean, that's the good stuff of this show. But it's like, it's kind of getting bogged down by some of this other stuff. And I don't know. I feel like it's not, I don't know. I can't put my finger on what I have. I just have an issue with.
No, we have one more episode to go. I don't think we'll get a conclusion as such. I think we'll get okay. This is where we're going next, sort of thing. With this because obviously Keith is still around, and whether he comes back next week or not, I don't think that'll be the last we'll see of him.
And they
But
really on Earth X, they never really have mentioned anything about about any other heroes besides the what is it, the Terrific Trio or whatever they're called.
yeah,
They
no,
really haven't mentioned anything about a super, like any kind of super being. I think they've mentioned metahumans before, but like they haven't talked about like Supergirl or Superman or like even good or bad. Like like you were saying last week about the Red Sun Superman. Being like like oh the Russians have their own super freak or whatever. But something like that. But there's not really been any mention or any. We haven't seen anything, any proof of any kind of super beings beside the Terrific Trio.
yep. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens this week. But I personally can't imagine. Some people talk about Earth-X is going to invade our Earth, and I'm thinking no, that's not going to
No, I
happen.
don't. I don't think that's
That's not. What
that's
they're gonna
that's already been done.
all these
CW.
fucking Nazis are gonna come through a little fucking doorway one at a time, please. How they gonna get their fucking military through? I'm sorry, how they gonna get all their equipment through? It's a fucking tiny ass door.
I mean, I
You
guess
know,
it just depends on the door. Like maybe if they make like a hangar bay, the portal, they could. But
but they'll still need to. Yeah, but if you see in the room, there's all this shit in the way. There's all these
yeah,
fucking
no, I know. Yeah, I know.
yeah, yeah. So
I don't agree. I don't think that the Nazis are coming through or the portal to invade our like.
and no,
I
but
don't
not
think
just
that's
that, but
happening.
within that in that sort of like junction area between universes, it's just regular doors. There's no fucking hangar bay door for them to go through.
I know.
You know what I mean? So like their tanks are
Again, I
gonna
don't know
stay.
how that would work, but I mean, it seems like it just seems like you could put it in any doorway, big doorway, small doorway, and it would make a doorway. I don't know how that would work on the other end. I don't know if it would like
No,
bust
no,
through the.
no, I agree. But let's just say they get their tank through, but they wouldn't be able to get their tank through the other end because they would have to hope there's a doorway big enough to get the tank
You're
through on the other side.
you are correct. Again, that's why I really don't think Earth X is going to be invading. But that didn't even really cross my mind. My thought was Keith was going to come through the portal and get to the DCU and go after Chris.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I don't think FX is invading.
No,
That's just stupid. It makes no sense. It makes no.
that would just be another thing where it's like, oh, we're going to make this big budget battle, Nazis versus like the DC, and the DCU's Argus versus Nazis coming through the portal. It's like it makes no sense. You're right. Like it just makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. And look, another thing as well, like as much as I've been hating on the fact that the episodes are very short because this was only 32 fucking minutes. This episode, yeah, I will say give them this, regardless of how short every episode is. They are short enough that they have to fucking deliver everything they can in that period of time without fucking dragging it along. And I
Honestly, I
give it
thought this
credit for that.
episode length was perfect for what they were doing. I felt
Yeah.
like it was the perfect length. It didn't drag, but it also wasn't. I didn't feel like it was rushed. Maybe at
No,
the end of it a
I
little bit,
agree.
but
I agree. They were able to squeeze in so much in 30 minutes is quite incredible.
hmm
You know.
and as I said, it didn't
So
feel like it was like going a million miles a minute. Like they were. But that's why I also said like I think that this Earth X stuff could have been done earlier in the season, and we could have explored a little bit more. Now, maybe would it have dragged at that point? Maybe.
well, now we're on to the final episode. Dragging or not, I want a bit more fucking meat on my bone. You know what I mean? When it comes to this final episode, I'm not necessarily saying that I'll be. I can't imagine us getting an hour, but we'll probably maybe get 38 minutes. That's what I'm expecting. If it's 40 minutes plus, bonus. But if it's above if it's above 35 minutes, I guess it's about as good as we're gonna get.
Yep.
So yeah. All right, time to mark this bad boy. What are you gonna give it, Cheeto?
I'm gonna give this one an 8 Although I still think
Wow,
I still think the ending with with Blue Dragon, the way Blue Dragon was killed, really ruined a good moment.
it's
And
upsetting. I understand.
it's not that it's upsetting. I wouldn't have minded if he died. It's just the way he died. Like as I said, you could have actually put a little more emotional weight on it. And obviously John Cena is capable of that. Like you saw when his brother was getting gang banged by his entire conglomerate of friends. Like John Cena can act it, but I really felt like it was just like it was almost like a gag. Oh, when I'm standing at the pearly gates, and then here comes Vigilante just stabbing the shit out of him. It's like, oh, okay, so that's supposed to be funny when we just had this great. It's almost like MCU level of just like, oh, here's a real good serious moment. Oh, but here's a joke. Ha ha.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting to see what Chris is gonna be like with Vigilante. If let's say, for argument's sake, I was wrong, and it's our Vigilante that goes back, yeah. How are they gonna be with him? Is he gonna be cool with him? And if it isn't our
Which vigilante
Vigilante,
actually killed him? The Earth X one or the DCU one?
I don't know.
Neither do I. That's why I was
Um,
just like, I don't know.
but I think that will be explained hopefully in the next episode.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, I'll
So
give it an 8. I thought it was a solid episode, as I said. I really did not agree with that, like the way they handled that the death of Blue Dragon and even the Keith thing was it was like yeah, as I said, like just all of his friends were just gang stabbing him, and it's just like John Cena like. And I don't, and I'm not saying that it was bad. John Cena just sitting there like freaking out. Like I don't blame him, but at the same time, it's like you figure somebody would have been like, "Wow, this might actually be traumatizing Chris." Maybe.
yeah, for sure. I give it a 9. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. Yeah, it had ups and downs, great character development as well between certain characters, massive twists and shocks. I love Robert Patrick, by the way. My God, that actor. I mean, when I first saw him, it wasn't actually Terminator 2. He had a very small part in Die Hard 2. Um,
Yeah,
but
actually,
then he
I've only
became
seen Die Hard 2 like once.
hello, lady, hello, Rick B. But
Oh,
then
there's your favorite Earth X version of Zam.
yeah, and then and then obviously he made a name for himself in Terminator 2, but he has had a massive fucking career. You know, like it's funny because he will always be the T1000, always. But his career is like he's never really played the leading actor in anything. He's always played a supporting
He's
role.
been in a lot of things.
So many things. Like right now, I'm watching Tulsa King, and you know who's in that? Robert Patrick and Frank Grillo. they're both in. They're both in that. He was in Sons of
Isn't
Anarchy
Samuel
as
Jackson in
well.
there too this season?
He has a cameo in it
Oh,
at
okay.
some point, which is annoying because they sport that in trailers. Like for fuck's sake, that would have been a great thing to figure out watching the show. But no, you had to give us. Now we're just waiting for Samuel L. to show up. You know,
Yeah.
he was in the X Files. He took over from Mulder. He played Doggett in X Files. You remember?
No, I didn't
You
watch
know.
X Files.
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't watch X Files. I thought you seem like the sort of guy who would. You
No,
know.
it was never real aliens. So why bother? It was basically Scooby Doo, except for the movie. But like it was basically Scooby
Yeah.
Doo. Well, there's never really a ghost. It was actually humans that were the crappy people all
Oh,
along.
no, it was like that in some of the episodes, but sometimes with Scully, she needed to be the believer, and somehow it always went beyond her, and only Mulder saw the real shit for what it was, and it wasn't, But yeah, but other times it was all bullshit. It wasn't as yeah. I know what you're on about anyway, but I don't want to go down that path too much. But
Yeah.
he's been in so many things. He was in Sons of Anarchy. He's in he was in Copland and several other movies. I'm really happy. He's such a great actor and done so much stuff. You know, yeah, I'm very happy for him. He wasn't just a one bit guy in Terminator 2. He's had a career. Um, Oh, you haven't seen the episode yet? Yeah, it's a great episode, mate. Watch it. Chito gave it an 8, and he's not like this show at all, but he gave it an 8, and I've given it a 9. It's a great episode. All right, but we're wrapping up now, unfortunately, Rick B. So I do apologize. Um, okay, so yeah, final episode next week. Looking forward to that. Maybe we'll get a big cameo. Are you expecting Superman to show up?
Maybe we'll see. I mean, we might get Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, he threw Luther in there already. He threw the one guy in there from
Yeah,
the Superman movie.
Lantern and Hawk Gun in episode 1.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I
yeah.
mean?
So, I mean, it's James Gunn is trying very hard to do the whole the MCU with this, where it's like everything's connected.
Well, he's writing pretty much doing all of it himself. He's writing everything. He's creating everything. So his signature's on it. I think he's just basically laying the foundations before he will let other people throw their hat in the ring.
Yeah.
And all of that. But fair enough. I don't mind that. Anyways, yeah, I had a good time with this episode. Can't wait for next week. And I'm going to be gutted when the show's over. I really hope they do a season 3. Rumors are they might not, which is a shame because this show's not as popular as it should be. It's not like killing it in the views and the ratings. I'm hoping people will binge it after episode 8. But anyone who's watched it, I know you're the exception to the rule, but pretty much everyone who's watched it loves it. So
I think it just has its moments. I would say it's middle of the road for me. Like to me, it's definitely not as good as season 1 for me. Now I'm not saying it's bad. It's just it's kind of a letdown because season 1 was so good. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's terrible. No, it's not terrible. It's just it kind of let me down after season 1.
Would you hope there's a season 3?
Yeah, I'd like to see a season 3. Absolutely.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, hopefully they'll bring it out quickly, not after 3 fucking years. You know what I mean? So yeah. All right, we're done here. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest social media channel you never heard of. And keep an eye out for, I think maybe my next review will be Tulsa King. And if Daniel Vance is watching, I've already started watching the Terminal List, the second one.